Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Maria and today's video is going to be a book unboxing. So basically, I'm supposed to be slowing down with packages, but I seem to have accumulated quite a few. I couldn't even lift it up there. There's quite a few here. So it's a mixture of Waterstones, Illumicrate, fairyloot and all of that. So without further ado, let's just get into the haul. So I think I'll start with the non-subscription box, non-special edition packages. So it'll be from Waterstones or Amazon. Some of them I'm not too sure which they're from because they don't have, I think most of them are Waterstones. I don't think I've ordered too much from Amazon this month, but yeah, we'll start with this one. That's good. Oh, okay, yeah. So this was from Waterstones. So this is the Ever King by LJ Andrews, and this is one that I've had on my TBR for quite some time. But for this one, you don't necessarily have to read it, but I have been reading the Broken Kingdoms series by LJ Andrews, and it's kind of like it's not quite a prequel series. It's a series that's based within the same world. So ideally, I think you should probably read this after you've read that. But LJ Andrews has said that you absolutely don't have to read that series because I think there's 9 books in the series. I've one left to read, and then I'll be able to move on to this one. But yeah, basically there's 9 books in that series. I think it's split up between 3 different couples or something like that. But yeah, I'm almost done with that series, so I thought I'll finish that series out first before starting this one. But this one I believe follows our main protagonist Eric, and just from reading through this, I believe it's a story about a pirate who's seeking vengeance on the man who killed his father. I believe he kidnaps perhaps this man's daughter, and I believe there is a love story then between the two. I don't know too much about the plot of this one, but just going by LJ Andrews' previous works, I think I'll really like it. She writes really good romanticy. The romance is really good in there, but there does tend to be quite a good fantasy subplot in there as well. So looking forward to getting to this one once I finish the Broken Kingdom series. So next one again is from Waterstones, and I'm not too sure what's in a lot of these because I did have some pre-orders and things like that, so I'm honestly as surprised as you are when I'm opening them at the moment. Okay, so this is another one I've had on my TBR for quite some time, and I think the series is completed now, which is why I decided to jump in and buy it. So this is Blood and Stain by Helen Schurer. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. In fact, I think I'm definitely not. And again, this one, to be quite honest, I know absolutely nothing about. I just know it's meant to be a really good romantasy, but again, the fantasy subplot is supposed to be quite good. So it just says, with her death foretold, Althea Saltaire only has 3 years to become what she's always dreamed of being, a warrior legend. Women are forbidden to wield blades, so she is trained in secret her entire life. Now racing against the clock, she fights to secure her place in the elite guild, charged with the protection of the 5 kingdoms. The sparring and hazing of the new trainees border is deadly, but even more dangerous is her growing attraction to Wilder Hawthorne, her unwilling warrior chaperone. All around them, schemes are afoot and darkness looms. Will Althea pass the perilous initiation test to take her place as the champion of Thesmar, or will the invading evil snatch away her dream before it starts? So sounds like kind of mentor-mentee romance, but again, I've heard that the plot in here in terms of the fantasy and the world building and things like that are actually very good. So yeah, excited to jump into this one soon. I believe these are all on Kindle Unlimited as well, so I may read some of them on Kindle, but decided to get the first book just to try it out. And on to the next one. It's always so hard to open. Okay, yeah, no, I know what this one is now just from looking at the edges. So this is The End Crowns All, and this one is basically a Hades and Persephone retelling by Bea Fitzgerald. Now, I don't want to read the synopsis because I haven't actually read the first one, but I do have the Waterstones exclusive edition of the first one, and I really want to read it soon. So as soon as I seen they were coming out with this one, I decided to get the second one, just so that it would complete my collection. And again, under the dust jacket, they do have really pretty hard covers. But yeah, this one, all I know really is that it's a Hades and Persephone retelling. I believe it does have more of a feminist twist on it, but I'm not exactly sure what the actual plot is of the first one because again, I haven't read it yet, but I'm hoping to read this one soon. Again, usually when it says Hades and Persephone, I'm pretty invested anyway, so yeah, be excited to get to this one once I've read the first one. And the next one, oh no, there's a little bit of damage on there just from the box, but I think I'll be able to straighten that out. But this one is The Blackbird Oracle by Deborah Harkness. Now this is part of the A Discovery of Witches series, so I think this is technically book 5 in the series, so I have the other 4. I've only read the first 3. I haven't read the 4th book in the series, but I do want to read that at some point. And under the dust jacket we do have some foiling. This is basically book 4 in the A Discovery of Witches universe, and I don't want to give you the synopsis of this one because it does give some minor spoilers for the rest of the series, but basically A Discovery of Witches follows our main protagonist Diana, who is a witch from somewhere in America. I'm not actually sure where she's from, but basically she is working as a professor in Oxford and she has magical powers. She is a witch, but she doesn't really use it. She doesn't want to kind of hone into that side of her life, so she's just kind of living as a normal human in Oxford as a professor. One day she manages to get this manuscript from the Oxford Library called Ishmael 389 or something like that, and essentially it holds all the secrets to why witches are created, why vampires which are in this world are created, werewolves, all those good fantasy things. And essentially when she gets this manuscript, a lot of interest starts to circle her because she shouldn't have been able to pull it, but it also holds a lot of secrets that a lot of these beings have been looking for, you know, hundreds of years. So in comes Matthew Claremont, who is a vampire, who basically tries to help her figure out how she was able to pull it, how she's able to maybe retain that document again. And there may be a love story there, but there's a lot of political subplot in here. There's a lot of, you know, I would say the romance is probably actually the subplot. There's a lot of political maneuverings in here because essentially witches and vampires aren't supposed to kind of mingle, definitely supposed to not have romantic relationships or anything like that. So yeah, I think there's 3 books that are kind of the main ones, and then there was another one that came out a couple of years ago which I haven't read yet but I do want to read, and then this is the latest one that's come out which kind of follows, I think, years after the 3rd book ended. There's a story continuation here, so yeah, really excited to read this one. I think it'll be a good one to read kind of in September, October time, so yeah, hopefully I'll be able to pick that up during those months. And then the last one from Waterstones is this one. So The Last Namsara, this is by Kristen Cicerelli, and the reason I got this is because it's from the same author as The Crimson Moth / Heartless Hunter, depending on where you are, and I really loved her writing in that series, so I decided to look up to see if she'd written anything else and if there was any other series that I could pick up from her, and this is one that came up, and a lot of people, when I was looking at reviews and things like that, have said that this is really severely underrated, so I'm really excited to pick this one up. Again, not too sure on the plot of this one. It just says that Aisha is a dragon slayer. Okay, dragons. Reviled by the very people she's sworn to protect, she kills to atone for the wicked deed she committed as a child, one that almost destroyed her city and left her with a terrible scar. But protecting her father's kingdom is a lonely destiny. No matter how many dragons she kills, her people still think she's wicked. So to unite the fractured kingdom, she must marry Jarek, her father's cruel commandant. As the wedding day approaches, Aisha longs for freedom. Just when it seems her fate is sealed, the king offers her a way out. Her freedom in exchange for the head of the most powerful dragon in Fireguard. And the only person standing in her way is a defiant slave boy. Okay, so maybe a little bit morally grey for the FMC, and then I'm guessing the slave boy is going to have some sort of impact on this. This is a really floppy copy as well, so I'm excited to read that. But yeah, no, that sounds really good. As I say, I hadn't really looked up the synopsis of this one or anything. I just know that I really loved her writing in The Crimson Moth, so decided to pick up another book from her just to see how it fares. But as I say, going by the reviews, it seems like it's one that's maybe a little bit underrated, so excited to read this when I get the chance to. Okay, so now I'll move on to some of the fairyloot boxes that I have now. Some of these, I believe both of these actually are just some pre-orders, so they're not the subscription boxes or anything, they're just some pre-orders that I made. Okay, so this first one is the Dance of Thieves and the Fire of Thieves, so I think it's actually, that's the first one and this is the second one. And this follows the trilogy that starts with The Kiss of Deception, so I think it's called The Remnant Chronicles. So I did read The Kiss of Deception this month, so I've started that series so that I can read these. But basically it's kind of like similar to Caraval and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. This is set in the same world, but you can read this without reading that series, but if you read this it'll spoil the first trilogy. But yeah, I saw that they were doing some special editions of these and I wanted to get them to kind of match in with my Remnant Chronicles series, so I'll just give you a quick look at what they look like from the dust jackets. As you can see, you've got some really pretty foiling there, and I love the black and white and gold kind of combination. There's the spine, and then we just have a couple of quotes on the back. Then the sprayed edges are kind of similar to that of the Remnant Chronicles trilogy, where it's kind of like a map. So I'll just get one of those so that I can show you kind of what the differences are. This is the first book in the Remnant Chronicles. As you can see, it still has gold foiling, but this is kind of reversed. It's white with the black on it and the gold. And again, you have the quotes on the back, and then the side is kind of the map from the story as well. And then if we look under the dust jacket, we've got some foiling on the front, guessing this is one of our main characters, and then there's on the side, and then it's plain on the back, and then there is some character art in here which looks stunning. That is really cool, so I really like that. And then this one is signed by Mary E. Pearson as well. And then the end papers on the other side is actually different. So guessing this person may be our MMC, but we'll see once we start reading it. But I really love that art style. And then we have the Fire of Thieves, the spine, and again quotes on the back. And yep, here we have our MMC, so similar to the first one. It just has the spine, then it's plain on the back, and we have some more character art and some on the back. So the character art has actually got me quite excited for the story. It looks pretty good, so I'm excited to kind of finish the Remnant Chronicles. I don't really want to read the synopsis in this in case it does give me some minor spoilers for that series, but I'll be excited once I finish that series to kind of have these on hand so that I can continue reading, because so far the Kiss of Deception, I did enjoy it. It's probably sitting at like a 3.5, but I've heard that the story does get better as the books go on, so yeah, excited to continue this series. Okay, and the next one from Fairyloot is again another pre-order, and it is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. So you may have watched my vlog when I was reading this one, but I absolutely loved it. It's a 5-star book for me. Really loved the writing style. It's very flowery and very purple prose, and I just thought the story was really good. The world building in here is pretty unique from my perspective anyway. I think there was a really good kind of political subplot in here. The romance was really good, and I absolutely cannot wait for book 2 in this one. So if you haven't heard of this one, it's basically about our main protagonist Rave, who is an assassin for this guild, essentially, who are against kind of the establishment. And at the start of the story, she gets captured by the Guild of Nobles, who are basically a powerful group of fae. Now, while she's imprisoned there, she actually gets rescued by someone named Khan, who has basically overtaken the king within this land. And as he's going through the prisons, he comes across Rave, and he's kind of shrouded in mystery. You don't really know if there's a connection there or kind of why he's interested in her, but he essentially takes her from the prison, helps her escape, and the story kind of goes from there. I don't want to give too much because it would be easy to give spoilers for this one, but I absolutely loved it. It is quite a thick book, so it is, I think in the indie version that I had, it's around 600-700 pages, something like that. But I would say that the first 100 pages are a little bit dense. There's a lot of world building, a lot of maybe info dumping, but once you get past kind of that 100 to 150 page, I just thought it was an absolutely brilliant read. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it was 5 stars for me, so I decided to get this copy of it when I heard Fairyloot were coming out with an edition. So as you can see, you've kind of got the holographic writing there, and you've got that on the spine, and then on the back as well. Then obviously you've got the sprayed edges, which are really pretty, and then there's some really cool artwork on here, which if you've read it, you'll understand kind of the significance of it. And again, this artwork is really good, and again, it's one of the things in the book, and if you've read it, you'll know what it's linked to. Then we do have some silver foiling on the hardcover. It's kind of holographic. It's a little bit holographic. It might not be coming up on the camera. And yeah, you just got a quote on the back as well. So yeah, I really love this edition. I'm not too sure what to do because I do have the Waterstones edition as well. So I'm not too sure which of these I should keep, because I really love kind of the original cover that Sarah A. Parker came out with. This is the indie cover. This isn't the indie version, but the indie cover was the same, and I do really like this version as well, so I'm not too sure which one I'm going to keep. I kind of like the dust jacket on this one better, but I love the inside of this one better, so I may just keep both of them. I'll say it is a 5-star read for me, so I can't really complain about that. But yeah, I'm trying not to have multiple versions of each of the books that I love, because I just genuinely don't have the space to keep them. But yeah, let me know which one you think I should keep, which one do you think's nicer, and it'll maybe help me and steer my decision, because I'm sure anyone who loved this book would love to get their hands on this version, because you can't get this version anymore. So maybe I could pass it on to someone who has been interested in it. But yeah, we'll see. I'll make a decision. But yeah, let me know in the comments which one you think I should keep below. And then the last book is from Illumicrate, and I believe this was the delayed subscription box from June. So I think there was an issue with the original book that they were wanting to include in the box, and they had to change it for some reason. So I wasn't really sure what the book was going to be before it came, but I got this a week or so ago. And the book is Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that first name correctly, but Vaishnavi Patel. And I've never heard of this before. I think this is the same author as KKE or something like that. Let me just double check. Yeah, so I've just double checked. I think this is the same author as KKE, which I haven't read, but I was interested in the synopsis when it came out a couple of years ago. So Goddess of the River, again, I have absolutely no idea what this one's about, but the cover and the colours that are used in this are absolutely stunning. So I really like that cover. It seems to get a lot of praise. Okay, no, looking at it, some of that is for KKE as well, so she seems to get a lot of praise for her writing, so I'll be excited to delve in. And those sprayed edges are really pretty as well. And then, oh, that's stunning. That's really pretty. That's the front with the foiling. That's really pretty. Then we've got the end papers, and it's the same on the back. So I'm not sure if they had to rush this or if this is just a different month's book that's kind of been pulled up because they couldn't do the original book or anything like that. Oh, and it's signed as well. It's signed in there. So yeah, I don't really know what this one's about, so I will just read the synopsis for you. It says, Ganga, joyful goddess of the river, serves as a caretaker to the mischievous godlings who roam her banks, but when their antics incur the wrath of a powerful sage, Ganga is cursed to become mortal, bound to her human form until she fulfills the obligations of the curse. Though she knows nothing of mortal life, Ganga weds King Shantanu and becomes a queen, determined to regain her freedom no matter the cost. But in a cruel turn of fate, just as she's freed of her binding, she is forced to leave her infant son behind. Her son, Prince Devarata, unwittingly carries out the legacy of Ganga's curse, and when he makes an oath that he will never claim his father's throne, he sets in motion a chain of events that will end in a terrible, tragic war. As the years unfold, Ganga and Devarata are drawn together again and again, each confluence another step on a path that has been written in the stars in this deeply moving and masterful tale of duty, destiny, and the unwavering bond between mother and son. Okay, so I'll be honest, it's not really catching my attention straight away. It's not really one that I probably would have picked up, but sometimes when you get these subscription boxes, that is the beauty of it. It's a book that I maybe wouldn't have picked up in Waterstones or something like that, but since I have it, I can give it a try, even at least the first few chapters, and see what I think of it. As I say, her writing seems to get really good praise, so I'll maybe give this a try, read a few chapters, see how I feel about it, but if I'm being really honest, the synopsis isn't really grabbing me. But yeah, we'll see. I'll give it a chance, give it a few chapters, see how I feel about it, and if I don't vibe with it, I can always, rehome it either in the library or give it to someone on Vinted or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to lift these, but that is everything. So quite a few books there. I think we ended up with 9 books, which to be fair for me over the past few months, that's a bit more modest than usual. But yeah, quite a few there that I've wanted to read for some time. Quite a few that are kind of continuation of series as well. So I'll be excited to get to those once I get a chance to. But let me know if you've read any of those or if you've purchased any of these as well. Or what was your favourite? Let me know what I should be reading as soon as possible. If you like this video, please do remember to give it a like. And if you want to see more from me, remember to subscribe. I'll be posting 2 videos a week and it'll be videos like this. So book hauls, book shopping, weekly reading vlogs, TBR jars, all good bookish things like that. Other than that, thanks so much for watching this one. I hope you really enjoyed it and I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye!